Hey everybody, I'm calling this video just for fun. I got up at Saturday morning. Jesus giving me a beautiful day out here for everybody else too. Got in a good mood, got a good night's sleep, no worries. So I decided to make a video telling you guys I don't really tell you about funny things or things like that happens with me. So I'm just going to tell you a few, and you guys can all laugh along with me because it's funny stuff. Now, it wasn't funny at the time, but some of it was. But I've always tried to have a good time doing things, practical jokes and stuff. But I had a buddy of mine I grew up with, and a good friend, and we went to school together. I even got a chance to see him again after I left Indiana and moved to Arizona, moved away, moved all over the place. But I got a chance to see him again after about 25 years, and he was married with kids, and it was good to see him again and talk about old times. But we did a lot of things together. But one time, and I know you guys, I've told you I've done, back when I was a kid, back in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of dope around. I used to smoke pot. I done acid, all that stuff back then. Wouldn't even know where to find it today. But it was everywhere back then. But I had smoked some pot when it was at school. And I'd run out of cigarettes. I needed a cigarette bad. I was probably 13, something like that. So I run into my buddy. It was his lunchtime. He was in the lunchroom. I went in there and I told him, "Hey man, give me a cigarette. I need a cigarette." So he gave me a cigarette, and I didn't notice it, but he pulled it out of his shirt pocket instead of out of his pack. But I was high, so it didn't matter. I took off, went to the bathroom. Now I'm in the school, high school, in the bathroom. And I light this cigarette. I'm telling you, I stoned. I hit on it a couple times, and all of a sudden it just explodes. I mean, I got tobacco in my hair. I'm spitting it out of my mouth. He loaded that thing with one of them cigarette loads. Well, that pop, there was a teacher walking by the bathroom when he heard the pop. He was a pretty cool teacher. I didn't end up getting in trouble for it, but he comes walking in. He usually would walk into the boys' bathroom and he'd flip the light on and off, and that would let you know he was coming in, put the cigarettes out. I mean, he was a pretty cool teacher. His name was Mr. Riley. And he liked me sometimes, but sometimes he didn't. But he'd come in the bathroom, hear that pop, and I got tobacco in my hair and on my face, and it's on my shirt and shit. He called me Goons, for Grooms, my last name. He called me Goons. And he said, "Oh, Goons, what, you in here smoking again?" I'm going, "Oh, no, I ain't smoking nothing. I got this tobacco all over me. I'm still high. I still haven't figured out what the hell happened, you know." And so this teacher's looking at me, and he goes, "You got tobacco all over you. What is going on in here?" And I just finally looked at it. I said, "I don't know." He told me to get my ass to class, so I did. Now this same guy that loaded this cigarette on me, it probably was about the same time I was, or no, it was a couple years later. I was 15. He was 16. He had his driver's license. Now he wanted to take off and go somewhere for the weekend and shit, get away from Greenwood. So I said, "Man, I got some family down in Tennessee. They live right around a lake. Shit, we can go down there and hang out for the weekend." And so we didn't even tell our parents or nothing. We just loaded up his car and headed down there. He ended up bringing somebody I didn't know with him. That was a friend of his, but I didn't know the guy. And so the three of us went down to Tennessee. we got down there and was playing around the lake and everything. Had a blast, you know, with my cousins and stuff. Had a blast. So we went and bought a bunch of fireworks and just down there you could get M80s. You could get, I think you could get a 8th stick of dynamite at that time. I mean, you could go out and blow some shit up down there. So we bought a shitload of fireworks. And we had some when we came back home. Well, this guy that came with us, he was kind of nerdy and funny, you know. Had a high speaking voice, and laughed like I had a high voice, you know. Had that laugh, high laugh and stuff. And he was asleep in the back seat. My buddy was driving the car, and I'm sitting there with boxes of Black Cat fireworks, firecrackers. So I look at my buddy. He's driving. The other guy's asleep in the back seat, like I said. And I opened up a whole pack of Black Cats. And I look at the guy driving, and he's going, "What are you going to do?" I go, "I'm going to light him and throw him in the back seat with that guy." And he starts laughing already. He's going, "No, you can't, you can't." I said, "Man, just hang on." I fired that whole pack, lit that whole pack, and dropped it right in the back seat while that guy's asleep. In this guy's car. Now, we got, I don't know how many firecrackers on the whole damn pack, but that whole thing's going off in the back seat of this guy. And this guy was asleep, and he's got firecrackers, Black Cats going off all around him. We were laughing our asses off. This guy wakes up screaming like a little girl with this high piercing scream that you wouldn't believe. Man, me and my buddies laughing so hard, he can't even hardly keep a car on the road. This guy, he thinks he's going to get me. Now, I had a little pillow up in the front seat with me, and I've been watching him. Because everybody always tries to get me back when I pull shit like this. So I was watching him like a hawk. I had this little pillow that I had next to me that I could lay my head on and go to sleep. And I saw him. I could hear him opening up that pack. And so I got that pillow in my lap. He lit a whole pack of Black Cats and was going to throw them up in my lap. And just as he started to throw it over the seat, I hit that pillow up there and it bounced back on him. There he goes. Them fireworks going off all around him again. And he's screaming like a damn girl, man. I wish you guys could have heard this voice, man. He was screaming like a little girl. Well, that wasn't even the best part. We were all laughing and shit and having a good time. Everybody forgot about it. My buddy's driving down the road, and I'm sitting next to him in the front seat. He doesn't see it. I opened up the pack, got it lit, and I tossed it right in his damn lap while he's driving the car down the road. Now, I'm telling you what, I've never laughed so hard in my life. See a guy driving a car at about 55 miles an hour, trying to hold his ass up off of that seat and keep them firecrackers from blowing up right under his ass, man. Oh, my God, that was some fun, buddy. Whew. Just thinking about it. Next thing that's funny in my life, after that, my mom and dad, they had a car that they bought for, my sister was a little over a year older than me. And they had a car they'd bought for her to use, but as soon as I got my license, we'd both be using it. And I didn't pay much for it, probably $200 or $300. It was old 1963 Plymouth Fury, and the whole ass end was so ate up with rust that the body sides would just flop when you go down the road. And this old wore out car. And, my mom always told me before I got my driver's license, she kept telling me, she goes, "You'll have that car totaled in 2 weeks. I give you 2 weeks, you'll have that car totaled." I said, no way, Mom, no way. I won't do that. I went down to get my They told me I could go into the driver's license branch and get my license. I rode my bicycle down there. Went in there and got my driver's license. Went home, parked that bicycle, and I got in that damn car. Well, when my sister got back with it. Anyway, I was able to get in it and go, this same guy now that I've been telling you these stories about, firecrackers and stuff, the driver, we met at the Greenwood Park Mall. We was out in the parking lot. He pulled up next to me in his car, and I pulled up next to him, both facing different directions, so our windows were next to each other. We was sitting there talking and bullshitting for a little bit. And I go, watch this, man. We're sitting in the middle of this empty parking lot. So I'm just going to do a little, put it in reverse, romp on it, spin the front end around, go the other way. And I ain't never done this before in my life. Didn't know if I was going to be able to do it right or not. But I said, watch this. Old rusty 1968 or 69 Plymouth Fury. I put it in reverse, and I romped on that gas pedal, and I backed up a little ways, and then I whipped that wheel around, trying to bring that front end around. And believe it or not, they had these big, tall light poles in these parking lots. And usually they're about 4 or 5 foot of concrete from the ground up on these light poles in these big old parking lots. Well, I didn't see the light pole. And when I whipped that wheel, it aimed me right at it. I smacked that pole probably at 30, 35 mile an hour in reverse. And I crunched the whole ass end of that car up to the back window. Now, by this time, you had to have an inspection sticker on your car. Well, security guard saw me hit the pole and it wobbled and shit, he said. And so he called the cops. The cops got there before I could get out of there. He looked at everything. He scraped the sticker off my window and said, I'm going to give you enough time to drive that home. That's it. Don't have this car back out on the road. I was like, all right. So I took the car. I parked it way down the street from my house. I couldn't even drive it up. 16 hours. My mom told me I'd have it done in 2 weeks. I'd have that thing totaled in 2 weeks. It was like 16 hours after I got my license, I had that car totaled. I didn't even want to drive it home. I didn't take it home. My sister ended up coming by it in somebody else's. She was riding with somebody else. She come by it where I had it parked down the street. She comes in the damn house. She's yelling at my mom and dad. He totaled that car. He totaled that car. Told them where it was. They told me to go down there and get it, bring it home. But they ended up ended up getting another one. But they bought us another one. April Fool's jokes, man. I've done a lot of April Fool's jokes on people. The best one yet I did on my sister. And I always say this, folks. You can tell people certain parts of a story and their brain will fill in the rest. And I've proved it many times. But one time, the best one I ever got on anybody, I got some people good on April Fool's jokes. But the best one, my daughter, my oldest daughter, had just gotten her driver's license and was driving to and from work and stuff on her own now at that time. And this is back when my sister thought I was good enough to have in her life. But I called up my sister on April Fool's early that morning. And she knew my daughter. My daughter's worked since she was 16, man. She's always worked. And so I told my sister, and this is all I said. I called her on the phone. She answered the phone. I go, oh, my God. I said, Carrie, Amber, she was driving down the interstate. I'm going, oh. Man, there was a a semi come across I said, hold on, come across the median. I'm going, oh, I said, oh, I got to call you back. The phone call, I got to call you back. And so I hung up. I just said my daughter was driving down the interstate, and there was a semi that crossed over. That's all I said, that crossed over the median. I didn't say it happened at the same time. They were on the interstate or anything together, or even on the same interstate. And so I waited a little bit, and I end up, I call her back, and I'm going, oh my God. I'm going, oh my God, Carrie. Yeah, oh my God, they just called me. And she's going, what, Brian? What? I'm going, oh my God, Carrie. You ain't going to believe this. Oh my God. And she's going, what, Brian? What? And I go, April Fools. She slammed that phone down. Now, I didn't know what all her mind put to this until later, when her daughter was telling me about it. Her daughter was there. And just for me saying those two things, she gets off the phone telling her daughter, which her daughter was probably 14 or something at the time. But she's telling her daughter how Amber was driving, my oldest daughter was driving down the interstate, and a semi crossed over and hit her head on, and that she's in the hospital or headed to the hospital or something. And I mean, they came up with this whole big story in their heads that I didn't even say none of that. Now, finally, when I get back, oh man, she's madder than a hornet's nest, man. Stick in a hornet's nest. And she was blowing up on me, man. I can't believe you did it. I said, you did it. All I said was two things. You did it to yourself. I didn't do it. But that's one that nobody lets her live down. One thing, my son, when he was in the Marines, he had one of his sergeants, staff sergeant, I think it was a woman. She was from California. She was an Asian woman from California. And she, after they got out Iraq and everything, they was over there in Iraq together. After they got out of Iraq, they came home. They went their separate ways. And when my son got married, he invited this woman to his wedding. And she was proud of him, what he did. They loved each other, you know. They like each other. And so, I mean, she came all the way from California to Ohio and for his wedding. But he was getting pictures of people with her and him, and like with my parents and other people, because they were good friends from the military. And so there was a picture they were getting with my son, his staff sergeant. There was another guy that came from the Marines, and my mom and dad. And nobody realized I did it, but I was photobombing these photos. And once they got the photos back and they were talking about them, and then finally somebody looked in the back, or it was showing these pictures to somebody, and they go, well, who's the guy photobombing these pictures? And I go, where? And they go, look, right here, look. And you can see my face in the background. My son and my daughter-in-law is finding me photobombing their wedding pictures. And I don't know if that's funny to you guys, but that's funny to me. And I'm going to end with this last one here, because this is getting long. It's already at 19 minutes. I did a lot of four-wheeling out in Arizona. Always out in the desert, up on a mountain somewhere, you know. And they got these cactus out there that's called cholla cactus. People claim they jump on you, but they don't jump on you. It don't take much. You just brush by them, you're going to have them all over you, you know. And there's some of them, they're pretty big chunks, and they're like a ball with stickers, cactus stickers on them. Well, when you're driving around out there, you might run over this stuff, cactuses and stuff sometimes, and you get them in the side of your tires and everything, you know. And if you don't pay attention, you'll you'll bump up and get them in your leg or something, you know. Well, it was dark one night, and I was out with a bunch of guys out, four-wheeling out in the desert. And we were driving along and everything. We all decided to stop and just bullshit for a little bit, get out of the trucks. And so I'm walking around my buddy's Jeep, and I lean up again. I was going to lean up, back up against it, and just lean against his Jeep, against a tire. A stupid move in the dark. Well, I pressed my butt. And these things, these cactus, as soon as they hit your body, I don't know if it's the oils, water, whatever's in your body, they curve like a hook as soon as they get in your skin. And you just jerk them out, you're going to rip some stuff out. You know, you got to pull them out right. And, well, some people use combs and stuff to pull these out. Well, I bet I leaned against that damn tire, and sure enough, I had this big old chunk. It was probably about this big, zippy, something around that, hanging out of my ass now, through my jeans and hanging out of my ass. Now, you know when you got a good friend, when you can walk over and ask him, do you got a pair of pliers? And they say, yeah. I said, well, can you get them? And he walked over and got his pliers. And as he come back and was standing there, he goes, wait, what do you need them for? I turned my ass around and said, well, you pull that cactus out of my ass. And that's the damn truth, man. This guy, it took him a little bit to get it out, but he did end up pulling this shit out of my ass, man. And it was painful, folks. Like I said, this one is just for fun. Kind of let you guys know I'm not all serious. I have fun with life, and I will always continue to do that. But I bitch about a lot of stuff, so I just did this one for fun. So hope you guys enjoyed it. These are a few stories. I have others that I think about, and I just laugh, and then I forget, and they don't ever make it into a video. But may God bless us all, folks. That's the only way out of this, and I hope you're listening to the words coming out of my mouth. Make no mistake, God really does love you, and so do I. You guys have a good day out there. It's going to be a nice one. And the hat's gone, folks, for until the winter comes back. Hat won't be back on. It'll just be the flat top. I had to get rid of that crap, too. It's too hot to have that crap on my face. So, you guys have a good day. Get out and do something if you can. See you later.